Hey everyone. Obviously, I'm recording two videos at one time, or back to back, because I'm wearing the same clothes. It's still raining and I'm still in the car. Yeah. But I wanted to kind of catch up, and I just got done talking about the Katie Joy stuff and the lawsuit. So if you have not checked it out, please check it out. It'll be uploaded before this one, so yeah. But while I'm out here, I figured may as well try something a little different. Something that I haven't talked about and, I have opinions on. I have unlimited opinions on lots of topics. But before I get into that, I do want to address a comment that was, oh man, I can't remember which video it was on. I think it was either one of my Katie videos or it was the one where I was talking about the attack on Charlotte by Jesse. I'm not really sure which one. But it was a comment that said, I'm going to need you to provide receipts, please. And something else. I'm not a receipt channel. I know you got channels that can put receipts up and do all the editing things. If I could, I would. I'm not the smartest. I am not very good at technology, obviously. I'm very behind. Look, my 11-year-old can do it all day long. I'm just not. I just can't. Maybe one day I'll learn. But that's really not what my channel is. And as far as like receipts and proof and evidence, I do try to say, like, if someone else's video has a clip or they have the information, I put it in my description box. I make sure to mention it. That's about the best that I can do. But the thing is like, my channel is basically just my opinions on what happens. And I'm not going to talk about something that I don't know anything about. So before I come to y'all and tell you my opinion on it, I try to make sure I know what the hell I'm talking about. So the comment didn't really bother me. I felt like I should, just state the fact that I do try to know what I'm talking about. I do try to link channels who have the receipts, because I know that I don't have them, I can't insert them or whatever. So yeah, this is just basically my opinions on shit, and that's that. So to get into my opinion on this subject, I should start where this started for me. So I had made a video back when the Dad Challenge podcast and BX Beast Boy were kind of going at each other. And I had talked about my opinion on the Dad Challenge podcast because he had made a video that was basically like, I'm the face of this movement. This is the movement. I'm not backing down. Y'all should all listen to me. And he had made comments, because he says now that he didn't. He had made the comment that if you didn't support what he was saying about family vloggers, then you supported children being exploited. And he later did come on and say, that's not what I said, or that's not what I meant, or something. He eventually said, just because you don't support me doesn't mean that you support child exploitation, and whatever. And he changed his content. This all happened when Dad Challenge changed his content. And when I say he changed it, he didn't fully change it. He just said, okay, here's one channel where I'm going to talk about these things in an educated way and show you like proof of who's watching and the analytics and talk about it fairly. And then on this other channel is going to be my snark channel, and I'm just going to talk shit. And at first I was like, okay, like, is that really taking the criticism? I don't know, but I do have to admit, I've been watching his channel where he actually talks about the stuff without the snarky comments and talking shit on them, because I do find the family vlogger topic interesting. And one of the things he had said back then was that all these people that were coming at him for what he was talking about should look into it and make their own videos standing up against what family vloggers stand for, what they're doing, and the exploitation of children. Since then, there has been so many other things that I've talked about, a lot of Katie stuff. I talked about BX Beast Boy and my feelings on him. Him and Radiant Brick got into it. I talked about that. So it's just been a lot of other things. But I was sitting there last night, and I actually watched one of Josh's Dad Challenge, one of his videos. And I realized that, he made a point. If you don't agree, and you have a platform or a channel, whatever, you should probably take the time and at least make one video about it, sharing your opinion. Because I do feel that he has a good point about what they're doing. Do I agree with how he goes about everything? Obviously, I don't. I don't like the snark. I don't think that, okay. This is turning into a Dad Challenge video. That's not what I mean for this to be, but I get what he's saying about the snark, knocking them down some and showing people who they really are, that they're just people. I get it to an extent. I don't really like it. So that's just my feelings on that. But I have to say, he does a good job at pointing out how stupid some of them are. Some of the things that they do, it is what it is. Point is, I do have some thoughts and feelings about family vloggers, and because I'm trying to branch out and talk about other things, I figure this is a good place to start. So I'm not going to be, talking about each and every family and breaking all this down. I'm not going to do a video on every video that he makes. It's not going to be like that. But overall, I do think there is a real big problem with family vloggers. And I have a differing opinion on Josh's thoughts as far as kids can't consent, okay? So, Josh's fight that he's fighting is to put protections in place for the kids. I 100% agree. There should be rules and regulations, how long they have to film, how long are they allowed to film. They should have rights to say what they want and what they don't want online. One thing that Josh talks about a lot, and I don't even remember the names of these families. They all seem the same to me. They're all super rich and super perfect and everything's great. But one of them, I actually made a video about their kid getting her first period or learning to shave her legs. And those things are why would anybody watch that? And Josh has went on to show analytics that show that grown-ass adult men are watching that, and that is disgusting. But I know that on YouTube you can't control who watches what, but also you could be careful about what you put out there. I don't feel like there's ever a reason to put something like that out there about your child. However, I have some different opinions as far as kids' consent and them being able to say what they do and don't want online. And here is why. I have an 11-year-old daughter. She just turned 11. I have shared her story of what she has been through. Not in depth, I just told what happened. But before I told that story on here, because it was related to a case that Katie had covered, and I was explaining why her coverage of it was wrong, and why it bothered me, and why it bothered my child. So, before I put that out there, I sat down and I had a discussion with my daughter. She knew it was about the Michael Long's, his daughter's case, okay? So I sat down with her. She had seen what was going on with that situation. My daughter herself felt bad for the girl in that case, and it bothered her. So when I told her I was going to make a video talking about these things, I asked her, would you be okay with me sharing what happened to you? What would be okay to talk about? And I told her, I was like, I'm not going to give any detail. No one needs to know exactly what happened. But we had a conversation, and my daughter is very smart, and she is very mature. And she gave me permission to share her story. Now, I'm not saying this to be like, well, I think it's okay, so it's okay for everybody. That's not what I'm saying. My point is that some kids are capable and mature enough and smart enough to give consent to certain things. To say, okay, I'm okay with that being on the internet, or okay, I don't want that on the internet. And that's where me and Josh and our opinions kind of go separate directions. Because he is gung-ho, no kid can consent. Even if they said it was okay, it's not okay. They need to be off the internet completely. And I think that hurts his argument, and that's why I wanted to make my own video. Because he says we should all make our own video, so here I am. I feel like by pushing it to a whole other extreme, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to get what you're asking for, because people are going to think, well, that's crazy to think that no one can put their kids on the internet ever. Like, that's basically what he's saying should happen. And he attacks people's sponsors and things like that until their channels run to the ground. However, I do understand what he's trying to do, because there are these family vloggers who have their kids being filmed all the time, all day, all night. All their information, all their personal business is out there. And he has shown some of these families in some of their videos where I'm like, holy shit, why would you do that? So I get what he's saying. I get that there are going to be people where even if there's rules, even if there's regulations, there are going to be these people who are still going to push to exploit their children. They're going to say, well, I have my kids' consent, even if they don't necessarily have their consent. So I think that there should be something in place, some laws in place that say, this is how long they can be on camera. They have a right to agree or disagree with what gets put up, and have a right to stop certain things from being put on the channel. And they do this for child actors. There are plenty of child actors. How would we have all the movies that we have without them? So, the idea of taking kids off the internet completely and saying they're incapable completely of consent is kind of bullshit. Now, if you want to put an age limit somewhere in there, fine, okay. But the idea of fully not having kids on the internet is never going to happen. As far as the kids that are on the internet now, the families that are on there now, there are some disgusting things happening. No child, first of all, I don't understand how these parents are getting by with this. They will create an Instagram for their 12-year-old kid. They're not even old enough, according to terms of service, to be on these accounts. Now, TikTok has been taking kids off. There's one family that got on there and the mom was like, they took away your TikTok account. That's not fair. Instead of teaching her kid, there are rules. You can't do this until you're a certain age. That's not fair. They should give it back because you have 1 million followers or whatever. I don't like that at all. But there are people who set up these accounts for their young ass kids, and they post pictures of them in dance costumes or cheerleading outfits or whatever, but they're not, it's not like a regular picture of a regular kid. Like, if I take a picture of my kid, her hair's going to be messed up, she's probably going to have dirt on her face, She's going to be in sweatpants and a big-ass hoodie because that's how my kid dresses. These kids are full-on made up with makeup, their hair done, and costumes. And there's definitely a problem there that I don't think people can deny. So I agree with Josh on that point. These people need to be taken down. These accounts of these children who are underage, who shouldn't be on there to begin with, should be taken down. That's just not okay for anybody to do. You know, when they're old enough to have their own account, fine, but I still think it should be managed by someone other than the parents. Someone who will look out for the kid's best interest. And if there are provocative looking pictures, they should be taken down. That's something that these platforms, they should regulate in some way. And I think that it's important that we do talk about this and share our opinions on it, because there is a real problem whether we want Josh as the face of the movement or not. There is real problems here. And there are families who truly are exploiting their kids. And the whole thing about family vloggers, I can see how it started innocently enough. You know, here's my life. I want to share it with you. My life includes my kids. I'm a parent. I'm a single mom, or whatever the case is. Let me film this and show you. Well, let's face it. Once they blow up, it's no longer real. You want to see a real family vlog? I mean, I don't have a husband, but I can vlog me and my kid. You know what it'll look like? Us sitting in there cleaning the house, watching YouTube, doing schoolwork, fighting to get her to do schoolwork, fighting to get her to take a shower, telling her I don't want her on the internet. Like, it's nothing like what you see them do. They're in $1 million mansion, they're driving fancy cars, their kids are decked out in designer clothes, you know, an 8-year-old child with her hair and makeup done. I mean, it's just, who watches this shit? It drives me crazy. But I don't think it's okay. I don't think it's okay for them to make millions and millions of dollars off of their child because people are interested in the kid. If you were to take the kids out of the video, people wouldn't be interested. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't like it. I don't support it. And I do think there needs to be rules and regulations in place to protect these children, because there are some messed up people out there that will see their chance to get rich off of their kid. And that brings me to the Stauffer family. Now, I know the Stauffer family has been offline for a long time. Rightfully so. And unfortunately, the dad has his car detailing channel, and Josh wants that taken down as well. And I get his point. Everything they have was built off the back of adopting that child. So, would Stauffer Garage really be a big thing without H in that situation? No, not really. But I go back and forth because, yes, they still have kids to take care of. Could they get a regular job like the rest of us? Of course. Could they downsize from their $1 million mansion? Yeah. It gets on my nerves. But, I mean, it is what it is. But you have people like that who clearly do these things to get famous. And that's why I believe the Stauffers are a good example of this. Not just because they rehomed a child, but the motivation in the first place to adopt a child was like, y'all can follow along the journey. Y'all can, help and be a part of this. That's what's so wrong. There's also fathering autism, okay? Josh just talked about them. They have a daughter named Abby who, obviously she has autism. And they put her in these videos and they show her having moments where she gets upset or things trigger her. And they record this shit and they put it out there. And I look at that, and they're living in a bigger house. And they're saying that they do these things to help her, to give her a better life. But it seems like they're the ones enjoying that better life. They got a pool. Okay, maybe she likes the pool. But the four-wheelers and the whatever else they have, like all the shit they have for themselves, and they say, well, we take her on trips. Well, Josh has made this point. It doesn't look like something she wants to do. And so for people like that, it does bother me. It does piss me off. I do believe they should be taken down. You know, if you're a parent of a child with autism, yes, I can see where having another parent online for you to watch and learn from is helpful. There is a way to do it to be educational and helpful. And you can take that money and provide a better life for your child, but there's ways of going about it. Do you need to pull Abby into a bathroom and be like, let's show them how you go pee? No. You could explain it without literally making the child stand there. And there's a lot of other things, if you checked out their channel, that just seem very forced and like she doesn't really want to be doing it. And as far as where the money goes, like, why doesn't she, and this is just my opinion, my thoughts, why doesn't she have like the best fucking sensory room? I remember seeing one on, you know, the TLC show where they pick a special family and they redo their house. I remember they did a sensory room for one of those families, and it was insane. It had so much cool shit in it, and it helped. So why doesn't she have that? Why wasn't it like when they moved into this house, why didn't they have like the absolute best for her? Why is it just, oh, we got a pool and we got a bunch of shit and we go on trips? Like, that shit does bother me. It doesn't seem right. And it's, you know, it's not just one family or the other. It's all of these families who are getting rich off of putting their kids in front of a camera, putting their whole family's life in front of a camera. And they're not even relatable after a while. It's not a relatable family when they got millions of dollars and $1 million house and all of this shit. How can we relate? Why are we watching this? I don't get it. And I know that there are people who like to watch this shit and see the perfect life and wish that could be their life and feel like you're going along with them because it makes us feel like it's possible. And I'm guilty of it. I've watched shit like that before and been like, God, you know, they started from nothing and now they're successful. And I do understand that. But if it's at the price of their kids' life and privacy, that's a problem. So I feel like there should be something there to make sure the kids have a say in it. Do I feel like no kid can consent? No. But I feel like they can. They are smart enough and I'm sure mature enough at a certain age. Like I said, they could put some type of age limit there. But at a certain age for them to be able to say, yes, I'm okay with this being on the internet. No, I'm not okay with this being on the internet. And someone also to make sure that their money goes to them, not the parents. You know, it's okay to say, well, I'm their parent and I know what they need, but these kids, they should be set for college. They should be good for when they get married. Their wedding should be paid for. Their first car should be paid for. Like, they should not have to worry about shit. And it should be that there is an account in their name that says, here's how many hours you filmed, here's how much you get paid for it, and now it's in this account. I think there should be some regulations there that make sure these kids, if they're going to be on the internet, can say what they do and don't want on there, and that they get paid for their time that they are having to be filmed. So that's, like I said, I know this is a very different subject, different type of video for me, but I figured, why not? That's how I feel about it. I hope that more people do talk about these things and that, you know, this movement grows and that it will cause, you know, some regulations to be put in place and that some things will change. And I do think these family vloggers and the people that have gotten rich off of their family and their children, I do think they should have to answer some of the questions that are being asked about, And if you're like me, and you agree with Josh on some points, but you disagree on others, if you don't want him to be the face of the movement because of how he is and the snark and whatever, make your own video. Share your own information. Stand up and say, I don't want to see this happening to kids either. And that's why I made this video, just to say, I don't always agree with Josh. I do agree in some points. And so I want to make my own video and share what I think and what I believe. And I do believe that something should be done, like, soon, really soon. Because we don't know what the effects will be on their mental health and their life and their future. And we don't know what's going to happen to these kids, and some of these kids have already been doing it for years. So we're about to start seeing that. These kids are aging out. They're going to be grown. So before anything bad can happen or have a negative effect, we need to start doing something. Something needs to happen. So on that part, I 100% do agree with Josh, and I hope that people will start speaking up and speaking out and sharing their opinions on it. Anyway, the rain's getting really rough, so I'm about to swim into the house. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.